So here, so last week what we have seen, how do we import a catalog using catalogs under manager, catalogs manager. Under catalog, we know how do we import a catalog, and also if you want to modify something also, you can use the same thing by searching for the catalog subscription. We can modify the catalog also by going to the relevant version of the catalog. For example, if I want to change this one, click on version 4 and then you edit or you revalidate the two, and you can also do that. So then under catalog kit, we have seen how do we combine few of the items into catalog kits and start utilizing the catalog kits also. For in our current system, we do not have access to catalog. So I recommend going to the catalog by adding a catalog kit, then you will able to use the search functionality in the catalog. For example, if I go to the catalog kit, but I need to edit the catalog kit contents, select any of the kit, action, edit, then kit contents, try to add a catalog item. Then system is giving you access to whatever the catalogs are available. You can play around. So you can select something industrial machinery and processing. You try to add that catalog item, and you can also verify. So here whatever you are adding will add to the catalog kit only. The same way in purchase requisition, when a user logins to catalog by clicking on catalog, he will be seeing this item. When he clicks this item, so here it will say add to cart. Once you select that item, the cart will be added, and once you submit, PR will be created and it will go through the approval process. Then PO will be completed. So in order to play around, like what is the hierarchy? So this item is currently available in this hierarchy. If you want to modify and all, we have seen that under catalog hierarchy. So I'm cancelling it. Under hierarchy editor, we will be driving. So how the items has to be visible to the users. Under validation rules, we are going to specify what are all the required fields for our client and what is not required. And also we can create validation rules specific to for a supplier also, that we have seen last time. Then under catalog views, basically this is how you restrict visibility of the catalogs to certain users. Suppose you want to hide a certain catalogs from certain department, you can use a catalog constraint and define so that a catalog will not be visible to them. For example, finance department no need to see a catalogs for a production department. Similarly, production department no need to see catalogs of a promotional department. A catalog can consist of materials from different suppliers for entire organization. Here you are going to decide what catalogs have to be visible by what kind of what group of people. That we are going to we have seen under catalog views. Hierarchy editor, I have, as I mentioned, the hierarchy where you are selecting an item from top to bottom. So for example, maintenance, repairs and operation will be having subgroup. Under tools, general machinery. Under tools and general machinery, you are having hand tools. Under hand tools, you also have wrenches and drivers. And the wrenches and drivers, you are going to find this screwdriver, box driver, paper and pinch. And what is the classification code? These are all the classification codes as per UNSP codes. Suppose you want to bring this leaf, this is the last one is called as a leaf. So when you click on here, you can see leaf category or folder category. Folder category is a subgroup where you can extend furthermore. New peer leaf category means that is the lowest leaf which you can able to add it to the tree. Now you can copy this or you note this commodity classification code. Suppose, for example, I'm saying miscellaneous wrenches and drivers, which you also need that under machinery tools. So if you want to bring that, then you need to copy this. For example, I'll go to the machinery and tools. Under here again there is a sub filter where you want to do mining and well drilling accessories. And here if you click on add leaf, new peer leaf category, then system will tell you to add that particular category name and this commodity code. Once you click on, this item is available under two places. So that's how you can maintain your hierarchical category. Once you do this hierarchical category, then you need to run this index builder. Okay. Once you click on this index rebuilder, whatever the changes you made to the hierarchical editor will get updated and this will be available to the users. And highly recommended, you should not do this index builder during your business hours because it will disturb the system will load and the catalogs will show in different places. So it is not recommended to do in business hours. Okay, then again, you can give relevance ranking designation. So how, when someone is searching for an item, what is the highest level of frequency? For example, it go by item number. Popularity means how many times it is being purchased, or it is from a preferred supplier. What you want to show hierarchy. In this case, uh, the relevance is kept as item number is 2, preferred supplier is 3, popularity is 4, default difference is 5, minority organized is 6. Depending upon the relevance, items will be visible for your end users. So if you want, you can change this one. Okay, so this is the priority. I'm not sure the lowest priority. Review the ranking description, take the appropriate, for example, adding new item, changing the order of the item, disabling the item, setting up an item. I believe the lowest will be the rank which will be shown to the top. So for example, when item searched by, it will go by the item number, then preferred supplier, like that it will go on a priority. Suppose your company has a policy that everything has to be buy from a minority oriented, then if you're selecting this, when your catalog is coming from this particular supplier, that item will be shown first and then go by the other relevances. So that you can mark your relevances using relevance ranking designation. We have seen index builder, generated subscription. If you remember, in contracts also we have created a contracts. We have created contracts, and once the contract is, so during contract creation we have mentioned, do you want this item as a catalog item? When we select yes, so that is called generated subscription. So we can find this generated subscription in child side. I'll go to the child side and I will show you from Madam Curie child side. Go to manage, core administration. Some user has changed the default. Okay, go to the catalog manager, generated subscriptions. You can see this from the supplier. What is the contract? C137, C144, C45. These are all the contracts which got created. If you want to see number of items of inside of that particular subscription, it will give you the detail. This is same like how we are going to do the catalog, but this is system has generated. So from Ariba has generated the catalog subscription, and this catalog subscription will be deactivated once the contract has been closed. For example, C147, when the catalog is over or the open quantity has been completed, automatically this will be deactivated. I want to see one of the catalog item, C147, this one, let's see, C144 activated. So the item will be, enter a description for the item for 1000 line item, and this is the C44_1 free item which was mentioned as a supplier part number ID. So I'll go back to here. C144, click on version 3. Or I'll click on the contract ID, then it will take me to the contract. So version 3, version 4, version 2, and version 1, I can get these details. So that is called generated subscription. Suppose you created a contract workspace. When you come to downstream and you did not find that item is available yet, you come here and check the status. So for example, which is activating, that is not available. Only once activated, then the item will be available for end users to select it. Suppose you want to perform some activity, as a user we do not have, otherwise you can click this and take a action also. Okay, then currency map. So this is basically if you want to map any currencies, for example, if your user is giving a currency in his catalog and in your system you are maintaining different catalog. For example, most of the cases we are finding same. If there is a difference, then you want to map that. You can use this currency map to map your manage the currency map, search for delete existing map. Use so here from external, what is the okay external value internal currency. Search more. I'll just select US dollar for example. Select. So this is, you see, someone has created this combination in his master. If it is triple B means that is a US dollar. So another company where it is a American dollar. So this is makes sense. But here someone for testing purpose has created it. So when it is coming from external catalog is this. So he want to map that to USD. When you see the adapter source is replicated, that means the data is coming from your parent. Whatever the changes you want to make, do the changes in parent site only. So that's about currency. Now, similarly for units of measurement. So your units of measurement may be different from your supplier. Supplier will call this as a inch, but that is in your system you have maintained as a INH and the description is INCH. Maybe some companies will have INC also, IN only INH or IN whatever they want to define it. So that you want to map using here only. If there is something you want to map the unit, sorry, similar to currency map, if you want to do any units of UOM map, then you can able to perform this. Catalog replication. I'm not sure about replication. Okay, this is similarly, if you want to replicate, yeah. So from child side, parent site is this one. So whatever the items, if you want to do the replication, then these items will be available in your download subscription. For example, you created a catalog subscription in your parent. You have multiple child CLM. If you want to perform this activity, you need to come here and activate this information. Then this item will be available for your end users. These catalogs have been unsubscribed. So test office, for example, if you want to subscribe, so make sure that whenever there is an issue, they're saying that I am unable to see that. You come here and see whether if it is been unsubscribed, then you come here and subscribe it. Then this catalog will be available for your users. Schedule task, if there is any catalog related task are there, then you can able to see this upload. Suppose you are bringing some catalog from outside or if it is pending for a run, then you can see that status in, you can have a look. So data import export related to catalogs will be available here. So import currency mapping here, whatever you do this one, that is at the user interface you are doing, or you can download if there is a bunch of file, mass doing of a changes can be done under import currency map, catalog views, units of measurement, equivalent words. This is for the translation related activity. Again, if you have it some doubt, you can go to export the file, which will give you the latest data available in your current system, and modify the changes and use that into import. If you have a doubt, then go to the site manager, check what is the parameters or what is the values for that. And if it is again web service, that means this task is coming from your third-party system using a web service method, then you will find that information under web services category. This data import and export and this data import export, what is the difference? Suppose site manager, this is the highest level of permission which is given to a user. If he is having an access, he can able to access all the import and export related tasks in this one page only. Whereas catalog manager is a limited to catalog related activity. So we generally do not give this access to all the people. So site manager will be going to the only administrator. The person who manages the catalog, he needs some activity, some permission to manage data import and export related to catalogs. In that case, you assign the permission of catalog manager, then he will be having access to this only. You will find that in multiple places also. Even for example, master data manager, no, integration manager. So data import and export. Similarly, if you are having a user manager, in user manager also will have import and export. Sorry. So is it clear? With that catalog manager we are completing. Now I'll go to integration scenarios. Before that, I just want to explain what are the methods you connecting integration manager. Here, suppose your backend system, the connection between your Ariba. So here, front end, your backend, what is the recommended integration? So your front end is Ariba, either Ariba Spend Management, we generally call ASM, which includes our upstream and Ariba buying and invoicing. So it could be anything, B and I. If your backend system is SAP ERP system, which is S4HANA or ECC, then Ariba recommends to use CIG. Earlier the name is CIG, now this has been replaced with a name called Managed Gateway for Spend and Network. Why they call spend and network? The spend is nothing but your Ariba Spend Management, ASM network. So you will also have Ariba network where buyers and suppliers can connect. You can use CAG to connect buyer and network supplier also. For example, your supplier, he is registered in Ariba network. Then he integrated his ERP system to the Ariba network. I'm just giving a sample. Your supplier is connected to Ariba network. His ERP system or where the sales management related system, he is assigned to Ariba network. Now he can connect with us through the Ariba network using CIG. The network from supply network to buyer network using CAG. So that's called managed gateway for spend as well as network. So this is the highly recommended one. Why it is highly recommended is CAG is auto configured to manage applications across SAP. So why? So for example, if you are creating a CAG for a purchase order export, then system will give you what are all the fields available from Ariba side related to purchase order, and the equivalent side on the SAP side when you are selecting SAP S4HANA or ECC, then system will populate. Hey, this is the field I'm going to do the mapping. You verify the mapping. If you find the mappings are correct, then activate or proceed. So this way, Ariba is already knows because it is a standard. So purchase order number, the field in Ariba equivalent to purchase order number in your ECC system. Similarly, purchase info number is what is in that one. Company code, all these things. It is very easy to manage this application using CAG. That's why they recommend to go with CAG for any integration, direct integration from your spend management to your backend system, ECC. If it is not an SAP system, before I continue, is any doubts? Sorry. Okay. So now, next one. So my front end is again Ariba. Back end is non-ERP system or non-SAP system. Non-SAP, I should say. Non-SAP. Maybe it could be Oracle, MS Dynamics, or any third-party ERP system. It could be any system, third-party ERP system. You have two options. One is ITK, which is nothing but SAP provided middleware or a third-party system. Custom developed integration. You can use ITK is a SAP product to connect non-SAP systems to Ariba, or your customer can develop their own program and get connected to Ariba also. So that's the reason, that is the options are available when you are connecting external system. For your information, now ITK has been provided as a end of support. So let's talk about. So end of support means, for example, ECC SAP is saying earlier it was end of support by 2025. So your ECC system, if you are having as your backend, then Ariba recommends to migrate to another system. They will not provide any support after 2025, and they have a plans of sundown. So sundown means 2030. So by 2030, they expect all the current users or on-premise users to migrate to different application. Probably it could be NS4HANA. This was being extended. They were said in 2022 itself it will be going down, and they want everyone to move to S4HANA. But that is not possible depending upon the feedback from the customers. They extended the period to 25. I think now it is 2030. Not much talks are going on again, sundowning on ECC, because majority of the customers are still using on-premise ECC system. So there is not much this thing. However, ITK has been confirmed. So ITK end of support by 31st December 2023, it is going to stop providing any support. Again, it does not mean that you cannot use this ITK. So you can still use it, but Ariba will not provide you any support if there is a problem happening on your ITK application or ITK integration tool. And it will not also give any new features or any additions or security features. Nothing will be provided by Ariba, not Ariba, SAP by 2023. So starting from 31st December 2023, you can assume that you are still using a legacy system of ITK and you won't get any support if there is a troubleshoot. Before that, I just want to know what is ITK? What is the job of an ITK? ITK is having majorly two components. It is a middleware, basically, where you manage your integration option. What it will do, first one will, that is called convert the data, source data to Ariba required format. Ariba required format, we know that is CSV, .csv file is what we needed. So your source data can be any format. It could be, I'm just giving random, IDOC is used for SAP, or you can have what is called CXML, XML, CSV. It could be any format. So your application, whichever you are using, whatever the data is maintained, maybe in Oracle database or something, Oracle, etc., etc. So your source data is in this format, but Ariba, when Ariba has to read mean that has to be CSV. So ITK will take care of this job, converting the source data to the Ariba's required format. Then the second job it will do is send or communicate in Ariba technology, it says shake hand. So shake hand with Ariba, you require that in a format So now in the step which I have mentioned, ITK is going end of support, it is only stopping this functionality. You can still use to communicate with Ariba in the same fashion, but the first fashion, so converting of a data, the job which is performing is removed. Why they are doing this ITK stoppage is, ITK is a on-premise application. Now they want to migrate to a cloud-based environment to follow their Ariba strategy to migrate all on-premise solutions into cloud-based environment. So that is as per their strategy, they have gone with this step, and now alternative options are available to migrate. Suppose you are using a third party, then there is no doubt you can still continue with the third party application. Then you do not have any impact. If you are using as an ITK, this is for information because this is the hot topic going on in every of the client. If you come across if your company also using ITK, then you will be hearing these words that by end of support, what will be happening, what are the options for migration. Okay, now we have seen CAG, and if it is a non-application, ITK or third party. There is one more method which is called web service. So Ariba based on APIs, which will also provide a linkage to connect with Ariba using web service. So the advantage of web service, it's a real time. That means a PO, for example, goods receipt is created in SAP, will be reflected immediately within a fraction of second, will be reflected in Ariba. Sorry guys. Okay, here in ITK, what will happen when the job is pushed from your ERP or a third party system, then the data will be get updated in your SAP Ariba by batch jobs or a scheduled jobs over a 6 months, 6 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours. So you will not have a real time data. Whatever you are done in a non-SAP or Oracle, that will not be reflected immediately in your SAP system. For example, you are using ITK to send receipt information to Ariba, then you don't find that information immediately until the job will be run in this middleware. But using a web service, this is a real time, so you will be reflected in Ariba immediately. How this will be work? Web service, how it will work is, in Ariba, you are going to create an endpoint and you are going to say to the system whether it is a inbound activity or an outbound activity. Inbound means data is coming to Ariba. Outbound means data is sending from Ariba. Once you decide that endpoint, in web service, there is also a link to URL. So basically, you are going to provide this URL and this endpoint in your endpoint creation. You are going to maintain your credentials. Credentials means when someone wants to log in into get a connection to Ariba, how you want to use. There are two types of credentials. One HTTP based authentication, which is simple, username and password. Okay, once you provide this URL and username and password, then other system, other third party system can connect with this Ariba using this. This is also called WSDL, WSDL file. So if you have a knowledge on WSDL, then you can able to configure this method to use your Ariba application. Now I will be showing this once again in Ariba where we are going to configure this. So let's go to Ariba screen. Under integration manager, whatever your integration related, you are going to maintain in integration manager. The first one which we have talked, manager gateway for spend and network, this is your CAG connection. So these are all the tasks which have been enabled in your CAG. Import service states, import remittances, export submission. These are all. So suppose you are not using any of the one functionality, you can remove that one and click on update. Then once you click on this link, it will take you to the CAG's home page. CAG was a short form name. I don't know why they changed to Manager Gateway M. So here you are going to see this. I think we have talked this one in previous session. So this is basically to configure your managed gateway or CAG. It's easy configuration. Under my configuration, you can able to create a new account or new project and decide what connectivity you want to perform. As a end user level, we are going to monitor this at two stages. One is connectivity tool. So we will just select randomly, or not randomly, which system we want to communicate. We will select that system and do a test whether this is working or not. I want to select connection type ECC, environment, test environment or production environment. Then clicking on test to test only you will connect. Mostly production you will not be connecting it. So there is no connection is happened. So once you click on inbound also, then you need to push some data in your SAP system. Then Ariba will validate whether you have connections are working for both the inbound and outbound. If there is a connection failure, we will tell the integration guy to check why it was not working. Why it was not working, it could be because the password got expired or there is a someone has changed the configuration. Whatever that is, he can see with more information, he will able to validate it. Then transaction tracker. You have performed one integration task where, for example, export in ECC, it is not reflected. You can check that status by entering that receipt transaction number, RC number, whatever the document which you are having. Once you click on search, again ECC, you can able to search for last 30 days only. That is the limitation. If the transaction is more than 30 days, you will not able to perform under CAC. If the transaction happened last 30 days, yesterday or day before day, up to 30 days, then you can come here, select that particular item, do a reprocess. So what will happen once you reprocess? It will re-trigger once the connection is set. It will re-trigger and it will be processed immediately. If somewhere it's stuck, you can able to do that. Again, you will be having an option to select filter this one using whatever the status is. Under processing statuses, you can try failed status means find out what is the reason for failure, whether there is a data mismatch or something. Then you can able to give a try. So retry. What is retry? Anyway, okay. Next document type is basically the integration type. So when you're selecting, you're seeing that information, right? You can select, for example, receipt related information I want to select. So I'm going to receipt request. Then click on search. All the receipt data will be shown for last 30 days. You need to take the date. So no data was found. Or if you remove this filter and select all, click on search, all this data will be shown here. So here you can see PR, which is trying to transmit from sender 1548 client to this Ariba network, which is getting a fail. So why it is failing? Failed error response suggested action. So this vendor fault response received from, probably this is a test vendor which they have created. There is an issue with this one. Either you can contact the support and find this information and they will able to help you. So this is how you can verify your transaction in your CAG. Let's go to Ariba again. Sorry. So for accessing security gateway, as long as you have integration manager access, then no credentials required to access your CAG. Then the other one which I am saying, ITK, you are going to find that integration tool security here. So here you are going to maintain what is the organization name, shared secret. So shared secret means this password which you are maintaining here need to be given to your third party application, then they will able to communicate with Ariba. If you change to certificate method of authentication, and this certificate will be used as a authentication method, so this certificate has to come from the middleware which you are using. Okay, then once that certificate you are maintained here, automatically it get updated with the expiration date. Currently, the certificate is valid until 2021, which is already expired on December 19, 2021. So if there is a failure in the certificate, then again you will not receive this information. The connection will not happen where you are using this ITK. Then you need to update the certificate. Then so this is highly recommended. So you will be having a validity period. Review that connection. Do you want to maintain or not maintain? So again, more secure than your shared service. Ariba provides both the option, whichever you want to use. So in NTK, from Ariba side, this is only your maintaining. So rest of the cases will be done by ITK middleware, where the person who is handling that ITK, they will able to configure this information, converting the data from source system to the required format. You can find whatever the jobs running on ITK by going to the data import and export, search for the field in this case, in this test realm, in this production realm, we see this completed. Once you click on completed, this was configured in the parent. I will go to the parent site. Manage core administration, data import and export. In suite integrated environments, you are going to find user data is maintained in parent, that is getting reflected in your child. So here, what is this? Okay, so when you click on this completed, you will see this here, the client type, client version, and client information. If you find this information, that means you are using ITK to get the data. If it is not mentioned anything, direct connect or nothing is available here, that means this data is loaded as a manual activity where we are going to import users. So if you are performing that, then you don't see this information. Uh, there is one morning only I have verified it. Let me go to one more time. Maybe they have removed core administration. Yeah, you see here. So they have run this data, import batch data. Under import data, when you click on completed, even yesterday also they tried to send some data. What is that? Import company codes they are using. For import company codes, company code.csv, they have tried to use BTP. BTP is nothing but ITK's replacement now. When they started using this BTP, you will find client version and SAP BTP. This data will be coming here. Again, if you want to see the history, when and all this job has run, once you click on completed, once you go to the history, it will give you, so for this reason they have activated. So okay, testing purpose or something. Super. Okay. So suppose if you are using a client type as BTP, then that means your ITK has been migrated to a BTP application. For import company codes, as a batch data, you can send multiple files in one time. So for example, batch data company codes, company organization, if you want to do that, you can do that also. So then I will just click show company code. The same information will be shown here, BTP1, but it will not give you details of what is done also. Okay. Now we have seen managed gateway and ITK, and third party system is nothing but your web service statuses. When you click on web services, last processed. So these are all your web services where it has been enabled. You can see here there is a failure of this document. Export submitted requisition for export submitted requisition. So web service they are being used for export. Let's clear this. So completed. So here they are sending this data. What is that? Export receipt. So the system SAP Ariba will send exporting of reports using web service activity. Then the third configuration which I have mentioned, for in order to do this endpoint configuration, here you are going to see inbound configuration to bring the data from external system to internal system. You create an endpoint and you call the name for what purpose you have created that inbound, and you will be maintaining that username and password. So this is what I have mentioned. Either you can use web service security or an HTTP authentication, login name and password. Or if you are sending this out data, then maybe it is not necessary to give the credential, but receiving, you need to share these details. For then you go to the integration configuration and search for web service and search for, click on catalog item search, import receives from an external application. You are using this web service. So action, edit. Here you are going to decide format web service. What is the endpoint to be utilized for this activity? So here you are going to see requisition import. When I create an endpoint called requisition import and I give username and password and I share this detail URL to the third party, then they can configure and they can try to send the data to Ariba using this application. This will be taken care by the third party integration person to create an interface to send the data from third party system to Ariba using web service. The ITK transfer is batch job. So whenever the batch, mostly for your master data, you can use that batch data. For transactional data, you might use web service as a interface to get the data in real time. Even if you want to see this information, WDSTL file, you can see that information. Basically, this requires some technical knowledge to understand whatever the code, you can, that integration person can copy this code and he can maintain that. So with this, I am stopping now. We have covered catalog manager and integration manager and the three methods which we are having, CAG, ITK as well as web service. Okay, this may be a purely technical session. Don't get confused or worry, but this will give you an insight. So where they are doing the configuration, how you can check what is currently used in your client. Don't play around. If something is in doubt, check with your relevant person and then do the changes. Doing changes here will be severely affected, and this option will generally not given to all the users, only for the integration consultants or the procurement admin, support consultants like us.